We're here with Cashell Horgan, the writer-director of The Clockmakers Dream. Thank you, Cashell, for taking your time out to talk to No Budget. I actually saw this film 2 years ago at the Richard Harris Film Festival, and what struck me was it's like a visual feast for the senses. What was the inspiration behind creating this short film?
Okay, it was originally written as a stop-motion piece with models, so that's kind of initially where the whole visual element came as a kind of puppet stop-motion piece, and then I adapted that into, tried that in a live-action format, so carried over the design of the characters and the costumes and the ideas into that, and then people came on board with the costume designers and the art directors, and then brought that into into the vision of the live action.
And how long was the process of kind of creating these characters? Did you have like a team of people behind you?
There was a team of people around me. Yeah, they were great. There was Tatiana Cockrell worked on the costume designs. There was another woman, Gemma, who's a puppeteer, worked on the mask. So so everybody contributed into the creation of the characters, and each person brought their own style and their own craft to create them sort of these unique looking characters. Yeah.
I noticed with the story, it touches on themes of love and grief, and it's actually quite poignant. I find myself tearing up at certain points, and what was the motivation behind dealing with these topics?
Love and grief is something that we all experience or are going to experience in our lives. So I think it's a theme that a lot of filmmakers at one point or other sort of tackle. And it's just something that I really wanted to put across in the story, is that sometimes that loss and that pain, it breaks a heart, and it takes a long time to kind of even trust again or open that heart again, and that's kind of in the story, is that whole process of, what happens with a broken heart? Does it open up again? Can you find that love again? Yeah.
And what I find fascinating was with the clockmaker, you used a mask. So what was the choice of using a mask instead of just using, say, a normal human face?
The idea was to conceal the fact that, if I give away the end, then okay, but not do that.
Give away the end.
Well, part of it is the whole idea of the persona and using the masks as a kind of, we all wear masks, essentially, don't we? So the true self is hidden behind a mask. So, until the mask is taken off, do we find what is the true nature of ourselves? And that's the reason for the mask and the clockmaker. There's another element to that, but I won't give that away.
And what I find fascinating with Joe Mullins, the actor from Pilgrim Hill, was the clockmaker, and he couldn't obviously express his face, but he used his eyes, and that for me was very, very powerful. How did you go about casting this, and was there a rehearsal process for the actors?
Yeah, there was. We had a group of actors in Limerick who came along each Friday for about 3 months, and we'd workshop. We'd time out the scenes and do a workshop, just counting, and then mostly mime and going through the paces and imagining the scenes and the scenarios. And then, so each person actually played another person's role, and they'd swap over. And then Joe came in then later on and, did the clockmaker, and then he was just perfect, because you kind of have a vision of what a character should look like. Because if you designed him as that 3D character, what would he be? And Joe just had that, perfect physique and body movement and very expressive eyes and expressions you could come through the mask even. He was great like that, yeah.
And I noticed there's a certain pacing to it, nearly like a dance. Was that intentional, that came out in rehearsals?
Yeah, it did come out in rehearsals, because a lot of the group were from theatre and dance that were working with it. And because we're working with timings, that everything was set to kind of choreographed in a way that A to B to C, and then other people come in, and then the interaction, yeah.
And where was this filmed? Was it filmed in Bunratty?
Yeah, a part of it was filmed in Limerick City itself, and then a good portion of them was filmed in Bunratty Folk Park, which is a tourist village in County Clare. So we were filming around the tourists come in, around the other side of the street. So that was kind of the shoot, yeah.
So I thought it was quite an interesting mix of live animation and action. I don't know what to call it when you mix things together, but was that like an intentional choice from the start, or did that develop as you were developing it?
It was because we wanted to kind of blend the two worlds. The story was written as an animation, and sometimes those stories don't cross over into live action. It's a story is a story, of course, that can be told either way, but we just wanted to try and blend the two together and combine CGI and traditional animation in with the whole idea of the puppets, and live action. So you create a kind of more kind of fantastical world.
And you got quite a scoop there with Jared Harris. He adds his beautiful voiceover tones. So how did you find working with Jared, and how did that come about?
Perfect gentleman. What happened was he was hosting a Q&A at the cast and crew screening, and he saw the film, and he said he liked it, and I said, really? And I said, okay, would you be interested in doing the voice? And he said, yeah, of course, why not? It's absolutely great. And and that was it. And next week we're in London, and he came along to the recording, and it was fantastic. It was brilliant, actually. It was really great fun actually doing the recording. It was really, really good. So and it adds a really good personality to the whole film, and a tone as well to it as well. The narration.
So the original, it didn't have a narration, did it, or was there someone else narrating it?
There was someone else narrating it. Yeah, actually, I narrated it, and my own family didn't know. They said, he sounds like a car salesman or somebody. Who's narrating? I went, no, that's me. So we had to scrap that pretty quickly. But it worked out so well when Jared did it. Yeah, it was way
Can I ask actually about the music? Did that come in, like, did someone compose original music for it, or how did that come about?
The composer, Michael Edwards, who also worked on Calvary, the film, he saw the film, and of course it's a musician's dream because there's no dialogue, and he scored each piece. The original film was 25 minutes, so it was 25, and it was just set to a whole score. So it was almost like a vaudeville. Like it's even the sound design the sound levels are quite down for the actual sound effects, and the music it provides quite high. So it's very much like a musical, with action going through it. So it's like a musical almost, yeah.
And you've had quite success in a lot of the festivals. So how do you find the festival circuit? Do you find it really benefits, the Clockmakers Dream is?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think it's important to do the festivals. I think it is. One, it gets you out there to see, go to other countries, experience other cultures, meet other filmmakers, and also to see how your film goes down with the live audience. I think that's really good. And it's a kind of film that, our particular film kind of polarizes audience. You get some audiences who love it, and then some people who are like, I don't like it. Which is fine as well. And at least you get to interact with that, and you find out, okay. And it's really good to see, what other films have been out there and who the filmmakers are. So that's the great experience, I think, with festivals. And it's a time to actually celebrate all that hard work you spent on your movie,
And do you ever think this could turn into a feature, or what's the plans for it next?
No, definitely I don't think it could do a feature. No, I'd have to. It's. I think some stories only work as a short, and it was originally just, a short idea. I don't think it could go into a feature film idea. So we're actually just finishing another short without a budget, which is a bad idea again. But that's another fantasy, and we're looking forward to that. And then that could maybe developed into more of a feature, length. Yeah.
Okay. So where can we see the Clockmakers Dream next? Is there a plan for it to bring it somewhere else, or?
I think we're coming to we're with the Underground Film Festival, which is today, screening here, and then it's in LA Shorts next week, and then I don't know where it goes from there. Actually, I think we're going to put it up after that. I think maybe Shorts TV, and then I think online, and just put it out there. Yeah.
And how did you start in filmmaking? Did you start in animation, was it?
Yeah, in animation. Yeah, I studied visual media, then I worked under an animator called Aidan Hickey as a rostrum cameraman with film. And and then I wanted to specialise in stop motion, so that's where I started. Yeah.
So would you have any advice for our no-budget viewers, how to get into filmmaking or how to make a short?
Wow, I think they all know themselves. It's kind of you have your phone, you have your idea, and a dedicated group of friends who with talents, and go out there and just start shooting stuff. I mean, that's the way to do it, I think, and keep it short and simple to begin with, and develop your experiences. Because it's only when you start shooting it and trying to put together do you actually learn from doing it. It's great in the head, but until you actually start going through the actual practicality of it and all the kind of frustrations that come with that, do you actually learn.
That's great. But listen, thank you so much, Cashell. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thanks.